Hey guys, welcome to the God's Unchained beta with the TheProfesserf. Alright, it's time for our Monday Mythic Meta Report. Normally we would talk about our past ranked weekend event. However, we did not have a ranked weekend event due to some technical issues. Since we didn't have a ranked weekend event, that means that this upcoming ranked weekend event, prizes will be doubled. So make sure you get your decks ready and play your best for this coming ranked weekend. Alright, although we didn't have a ranked weekend event, we can still take a look at what happened the last few days. Alright, as I mentioned, there was no ranked weekend event. So as you can see here, several players in our top 20 didn't even complete their 25 games. Looking at the data, what I found was that most players took the time off from the ranked weekend event and played multiple gods to complete their daily gauntlet for Flux. So since we didn't have a ranked weekend event, we're going to take a look at the meta in a different way today. We are not going to include the data. We don't want to skew and alter the graph. The same thing goes for the number of wins. We saw that several players didn't even finish their 25 games. Again, we don't want to include any data here. We don't want to skew the graph and alter the results here. All right, so we are going to look at the meta in a different way today. Using gudex.com here, I went into the tier list and sorting by rank constructed mode for the last 3 days, which is our past weekend. Sorting out the higher ranks of gold to mythic. And we're taking a look at the archetypes. So archetypes will show us which type of deck had the highest win rate the past 3 days. As you can see here, Ether Magic was at the top, followed by Deck Steel Deception. Warrior was up there. Healing Light was strong. Another Deception deck, followed by Zoo Death, and then Regen Nature. So let's take a closer look at these deck archetypes. So here's our 69.6% win rate with the Ether Magic deck. This deck archetype follows the basic Magic playbook, which includes a lot of removal, some strong minions to stall in the early game, and then this deck differs in that it includes Ether Synergy. The Ether Synergy allows for direct damage against the opponent's god and additional magic cards in hand. With this type of deck, the popular god power to choose is still Blast Wave, similar to our Control Magic deck. The best Deception archetype had a 63.7% win rate, and this is Deck Steel. So this archetype falls under Control. We have our Rapture Dance to clear the board. There's several late game plays with Anti-Magic Expert, Demogorgon, Charm, Toast to Peace. We have some cards here that allow for hand disruption with Cutthroat Insight. And you have your usual early game removal and creatures to make it to the late game. You have your Hunting Trap, Switch Duelist, Jinx Blade, Sleep Darts, Umber Arrows, and Satyr Hypnotist. Cheat remains a strong option for god power for this type of deck. Our best warrior archetype had a 62.6% win rate, and this is the Deadly Control Warrior. This archetype focuses on deadly creatures, which you can give Onslaught to, so they could blitz into your opponent's big threats. You have other creatures here that benefit from Onslaught, like the Trojan Battle Mage and Nokvi Pillager. You have Jason in there to add some late game value. Early game removal and plays like Vanguard Axewoman, Enduring Shield, Auric Rush, Carnage Sweep for AoE. Besides Jason, you also have some strong late game play with Demogorgon and Hector. For our best light deck, we have our 62.3% win rate here with Healing Light. This is the mid-range archetype that's been dominating the last couple of weeks. You have the usual strong light cards with Light's Levy, Highborn Knight, Canonize, Master of Indulgences. As a mid-range deck, this deck focuses on strong early plays like Pyramid Warden, Veteran Hoplite, Olympian Guard, the Ritual Rod, and then transition to its strong mid-range plays. Our best death deck came in at 56.7% win rate. This is the Zoo Death archetype, focusing mostly on Soul Burn and cheap minions to do damage as soon as possible, combined with Skull Scepter to do additional damage when your minions die off. Our best nature deck has a 56% win rate. This is the Regen Nature deck. This is the Regen Nature archetype, which combines big beasts with buff cards like Trial of the Hydra. You have quite a bit of overlap here with the usual big beast mid-range deck, but the key difference here is the inclusion of the Trial of the Hydra and the Archmonian Hydra card. Animal Bond usually works well to help widen your board and add more confused creatures. So now to take a quick look at the matchups of each god, we can see Light still dominates with a 55% win rate against most gods, followed by Magic. Other than Deception being able to pull some win percentages from Light, everything looks fairly similar from last time. War and Nature did switch places, with War now sporting a positive win rate and Nature dropping even lower. All right, so that's our Monday Mythic Meta Report for this non-ranked weekend event. Hopefully you found this information useful and that you'll be able to use it to better your performance for this upcoming double prize ranked weekend event.